everyone, and welcome back to our Dreamcast Behind Your Eyes, where we break down, decode, investigate, and discuss your dreams. I am your host.
Decode. I sound a bit like Tom. It makes me feel like Tom Hanks.
Well, maybe
the Da Vinci Code.
You're the Tom Hanks of the dream world. I'm your host, Shanna, and this is your other host.
I am Holiday G, over here in the UK, talking complete gibberish about dreams and their meanings. So
apparently you're Tom Hanks today, though.
Yeah, I'm Tom Hanks today. So
Holiday
sit
Hanks?
back. Yeah. Holiday Hanks. But, we have things that rhyme with Hanks, and it sounds a little bit wrong over here in the UK. A Holiday Hanks. But yeah, so sit back and enjoy these dream interpretations and just relax to the dulcet tones of myself and Shanna.
This is going to be our ASMR episode. We have to start whispering. No, it's not. Don't expect that from either of us ever.
What does that mean?
ASMR. It's where like people like whisper. It's like, I don't remember what it stands for, but they whisper, and it's supposed to be like soothing to some people. Some people use it to like listen to like go to sleep. It's relaxing. Like some people get like body chills and stuff. I don't get it. Like I'm like, it just, I don't get it. But
no, what's someone whispering in your ear is like relaxing.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
I mean, if you're into ASMR, like that's cool. It's not for me, but like I don't think either of us would be good at it, because we could probably maintain whispering for like maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes, and then something funny would happen and we would both crack up and sound like, laughing hyenas.
Yeah.
So.
I have a problem whispering anyway, because my whispering, I just basically talk slower when I whisper. So I just like, I am whispering.
Oh,
and
my
wife's like, no, I can hear you. I'm like, oh, damn.
You're like, that didn't work out how I expected.
That didn't work out at all. No, I'm trying to whisper. She's
I
like,
love
no.
it. Yeah,
Right.
There's going to be no ASMR dream interpretation from us. Sorry, guys.
Although I have got a really weird one today, so
okay, start us off.
Should we start with that one? Okay,
Yeah.
Forgive my leaning in, but I'm going to have to make my screen a bit bigger because my eyeballs are old man. Right, here we go. Right, okay, here it goes. I never dream pleasant dreams, ever, at all. In fact, all my dreams are nightmares. Even my wet dreams tend to be terrible. Now, straight away, this gets me like weird. Joe. What? It goes on like I'm having sex with someone who I really don't want to in real life, like a dirty and ugly 80-year-old alcoholic woman who demanded me to have sex with her, otherwise she won't sell her car to me. What? It's like,
I mean, if you need a vehicle, you do what you gotta do.
You got to do it, yeah. I've had a few vehicles in life. I must admit, I've never had to have sex with an 80-year-old alcoholic woman to actually seal the deal.
That's probably a good thing. That's probably a good thing.
Well, I don't know. It depends on the discount, doesn't it? But I don't know. Anyway, let's go on. Otherwise you won't sell a car. Sometimes it's pretty women too. But even then, something bad always happens. Like suddenly I realise I'm having sex into a hole in their head, and then I freak out and wake up. Well, yeah, having sex with a hole in the head is a bit weird. Yeah, I must admit. But there probably is someone who likes it. And we don't judge. But those are pretty normal compared to the strange ones. I dreamt I was a type of penguin or a fat fish, or sometimes both at the same time in a cargo plane, and get dropped out or fall out and went into holes in a land that was purple and full of holes, 4-dimensional, even which was very confusing. And there were like tiny lions chasing me, but I jumped and swam in these holes and they come up and I'm in the purple ice. And everything looks like a really primitive computer game using the 3D accelerators back of the late 90s. Terrible. And a feeling of absolute dread in the background of the whole thing. He does go on, but this is obviously a breakdown of his dream. This is his first one. So his first one, he dreams he's a penguin fish in a cargo plane being let out into a purple land full of holes.
Right.
being chased by tiny lions in 90s graphics computer games.
I think somebody's been playing too many weird online games.
Yeah, and it does. It's like you're jumping out of this plane or being pushed, whatever it is, jumping out, being pushed into this plane. There's holes. I've got to hit the target. I've got to. What? Yeah, if you don't hit the target, it's going to be a mush type situation, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he jumps out, goes through the hole where there's little lions chasing him, and comes out in a 90s graphic-esque purple ice landscape.
Yeah.
Right.
It sounds really vivid though, like a music video, like a weird music video.
Yeah, like you might be too young for this, but like a Duran Duran 80s-esque video where we're Joe. But I like the fact that he's a penguin fish. Because you've got predator and prey in one there. So the sexual part of me thinks he's like both her and woo at the same time.
He's a switch for sure.
Yeah, but definitely he's a penguin fish. Diving into holes from a great height. Any ideas?
I feel like the diving into holes, if we want to get into a little bit of psychology here, might have a little more to do with him feeling like his direction in life, like he has these goals that he's trying to aim for.
He's having to hit the target.
He's got to hit that target. But when he hits that target, maybe things aren't quite what he's expecting to be on the other side of this target.
And he's coming out in 90s graphics.
He's coming out in 90s graphics. He's coming with like weird lions chasing him. Is that what you, these little tiny lions?
What did you say? Let's have a look.
Yeah,
and there are tiny lions chasing him.
Yeah.
So the tiny lions, I think, are probably the expectations driving him into holes that he doesn't want to go into, and he's coming out in a reality that he doesn't like.
Yeah, it's expectations, and it's like, because lions are supposed to be a symbol of like courage, like, and maybe it's the combination of expectations and the courage that he feels that he doesn't have, but he's being forced to have as he makes his way through these holes.
Whilst he's being a penguin fish.
Whilst he's being a penguin fish, which
penguins are very streamlined, aren't they? They are very aerodynamic. So I could imagine.
But they can't fly.
They can't fly, but if you pushed one out of the aeroplane, I think it would probably go down better than if you pushed out a giraffe. A giraffe, I could imagine getting quite into a spinny, spirally sort of situation.
Right.
Whereas, I think out of the animal kingdom that can't fly, a penguin is probably your best bet, isn't it?
Is a penguin fish a real thing though, or is it like literally like a penguin and a fish together?
No, he's a penguin and a fish mixed together.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that a penguin fish wasn't actually like a real animal.
no, he's got here a penguin or a fish or both at the same time. So what's what? Is he got the penguin head and a fish tail, or is it a penguin's legs and a fish? Because penguins have these funny little flippers, don't they? And I imagine this funny little flipper with a big fish head coming along.
I imagine as well. That's what I imagine as well, is like the fish head with kind of like the little penguin body, because I feel like if it were the other way around and you had a penguin head with a fish body, wouldn't it make that a little difficult to like aim yourself into these holes? Like,
yes, you're right. Yeah. You wouldn't. You would have just rolled out, wouldn't you? And you'd be at the mercy of.
You'd just be like flip-flopping around.
Like if you've just got a salmon or something out the water, just
yeah, exactly,
like that. But penguins are quite cute, so I will give him that. So he's at least he's become a cute aerodynamic animal. So I would go a little bit more abstract, and I'd say he's in a plane.
Okay.
He doesn't know what he is. He's confused in life, and I'm not talking about he doesn't know what he is as in terms of agenda, because that's quite a popular subject at the moment. But I think dreams work more basic than that. So he doesn't know what he is in terms of his life.
Yeah, because exactly. Yeah,
you're born, aren't you? And when you're born, aren't you? As if that's like an actual question. You're born, aren't you?
Maybe I wasn't.
Yeah.
I just popped out of nowhere and existed.
Yeah, you came out of a Waffle House.
Yes, actually, it was a Denny's.
Oh, I came out of a Denny's. Yeah, you go in there. Yeah. Go in for some pancakes. Come out with a Shanna under your arm.
Yeah, I came with the Grand Slam breakfast.
Yeah, oh, that's all right. There's worse places. I'm a fan of Denny's, but so he doesn't quite know what he is. He was born.
Right.
He's found himself hurtling towards a direction or somewhere where he doesn't want to be hurtling towards, looking for a target. He's being chased by expectations that are saying, you've got to hit the targets. And he's come out somewhere he's completely feeling alien to him, i.e. the 90s graphics. Okay. And he's now trapped in a frozen wasteland of tiny lions.
Yeah, which doesn't sound like somewhere you would want to be fair.
I don't know. If it depends how tiny, doesn't it? If they're like palm sized, I could imagine them being quite cute.
It's not the lions that I would so much be worried about. I'd be excited about tiny lions. I would be super excited. But like the frozen wasteland in the 90s graphics, that just doesn't sound exciting to me.
No,
I don't know how I feel about being there.
Well, I don't think he's got a choice. So I'd say to him, make the most of what you got. Make friends with the tiny lions. Mm-hmm. Hope that you've got penguin feet and not a fish feet. And just dive in holes. If you see a hole, just dive in it. Go for it. Dive in.
Dive right into that hole, my friend.
He does go on though with another one.
Oh, there's another one. Okay.
Yeah. And it goes on and says, there was another time that I dreamt that I was flying. And I was demonstrating my flying skills. Okay. And it's got in brackets here, flying with my body. So no tools or aeroplanes.
Okay.
So I've had dreams before that I can fly. I think it's quite a common one. I love
dreams about flying. I love it. Except for when suddenly you can't fly anymore and then you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. My best dream I ever had about flying was that I every time I flapped my arms, I'd go up a bit higher. But the caveat to it was, and the twist in the tail was, that I could only fly backwards. So I never could see where I was going. So I could fly, but I was going backwards anyway. So they were demonstrating their flying skills by flying in the town that they went to high school in.
Okay.
But they ran into a tree house where an old couple lived, and they were bee researchers. So they had got some bees, and the bees chased after him and stung him. He had to gain some altitude quickly to get away from the bees, and then realised that, oh no, today is when the Air Force have the live exercises. How they would ever know that, he's putting question marks. And an attack helicopter chased him off the country until he got stuck in the top of a tall tree, a conifer tree. I love the detail there. It was a conifer tree.
You know, it's specific.
Like, yeah. Redwoods are too high. It's a conifer. Okay. Though conifers are kind of sappy, aren't they? They've got sap.
Well, they have sap, but they also have like needles and stuff. So I feel like it would be kind of easy to get stuck in one. Like if you've ever been around a conifer and you've had like a balloon or something, it's gone. It's stuck in there.
You're right, but I would be annoyed because I hate being sticky. I hate getting sticky stuff on me and having sticky stuff and prickly sticky stuff. Oh,
that's highly uncomfortable.
It's a nightmare.
Not here for it.
Right. He's stuck in his conifer, and then the helicopter shot a missile and the tree exploded. They weren't hurt, but they lost their hearing, which was strange because they don't normally have any sound in their dreams anyway. They flew off and the helicopter chased them, and they flew in between some power lines, and the helicopter could not stop in time, so it got stuck and it crashed. They felt guilty for wrecking the helicopter and killing all the pilots. So they went back into the town and sang a song of guilt and asked to be executed for their crimes on an electric chair.
Oh my God.
The chair was actually, though, just a regular toilet seat, and everyone in town was pointing at them and saying they were a murderer. they turned it on and they died and woke up. So this is quite spectacular. We've got lots of things here.
We've got to break this down section by section, I think.
Yeah, so let's get on to, they're demonstrating they can fly. So they're demonstrating you can fly, I think, is always a confidence thing.
Right.
They're confident in their surroundings.
It's confidence, and I feel like when people dream about flying too, if it's not like a negative dream necessarily, but if it's just a dream like, oh, I'm flying, I feel like a lot of times it has to do with freedom. Because all the freedom that comes with flying, so
well, how amazing would it be? Do you know, I think a lot of people, if you said you could have one superpower, their superpower would be to fly.
I think that's probably the most common.
But I think the problem with that is there's a downside to it, isn't it? Because the higher up you get, the colder it gets. So you'd go, I could fly, you'd whiz straight up, freeze and die. So it's like you'd have to cross it with, I can fly, but I'm also immune to cold and the low oxygen.
Right. Or you just fly really low when you're flying.
Yeah. Well, then you get spotted, wouldn't you? But or as this guy, caught in a conifer. So he's feeling free. He's feeling confident. And then he's bashed into some bee researchers, and the bees have chased him. Now, I would say the bees, and I've always thought this, bees to me represent crowds, because bees are social animals, aren't they, that work in a social hierarchy with a matriarch leading it. So they always seem to me to be symbolizing crowds. So I think he's free as a bird, he's confident, and then he's crashed into the crowds, the swarms of people who are hemming him in. That's why he's trapped. So he's trying to get away from all the people, and then he crashes into a conifer. So but the helicopter chased him into the conifer. So what could I reckon, so he's confident, he's flying, he's found himself in a brush with all the people of the world, he's trying to escape the world society, the normalcy of it all. An overarching ruling figure in a helicopter has come and chased him into a conifer, which he becomes stuck and entangled.
And this overarching figure is something that was scheduled, but that he forgot about.
Yes.
So it's something that he should have known was going to happen. But then, because, as life happens, we get busy as bees. Then sometimes we forget about these things that are really important, that are going to have a heavy impact on something that's going to happen in our life. So you're right. So maybe he did have this thing that he had forgotten about. Maybe it was a task or something he had to do, or a commitment or an appointment or something like that. So he's trying to escape from society, but he's being brought back down by the tasks or the commitments he has. But why is he in a conifer? Could it just be because they're annoying? I think it could be a combination of they're annoying and they're very common. So I don't know where this person lives, but depending on where they live, it might be a tree that they commonly see. So on top of being annoying, it might just be like, this is the tree that I see all the time. Like, this is what my brain is manifesting, because
I've almost now cursed myself, haven't I, to come back as a conifer.
You might.
Sticky and prickly.
When you die, you can have yourself cremated and turned into a tree. So if that's something that you decide to do, I would maybe specify that you don't want to be a conifer, that you would prefer to be like an oak or something.
I don't know. I'd quite like to be a willow.
I love willows.
Because they're charismatic, aren't they?
They are. I mean, if you've ever seen Pocahontas, like, how can you not love a willow tree after watching that,
Yeah, I just think that they may be not the strongest of trees, but the way they move is quite balletic and charismatic. Yeah, I'm coming back as a willow. That's why I'm coming back.
They're free-flowing. They move with the wind and the earth, and as things, push against them, they just go with the flow.
So if this was my dream, I'd be stuck in a willow, but he's stuck in a conifer.
Yep.
The helicopter's still chasing him, so his commitments are still chasing him.
Yes.
And the helicopter's now crashed into power lines, and the pilots are dead. So maybe this is that whatever the appointment was or whatever the commitment was,
yes,
he's let them down some way.
He's really let them down.
Yeah.
To the point that he's got to go apologize and, he's make amends for what he did.
Yeah. And sit on a toilet seat that's really an electric chair.
Can I just say, when it comes to the toilet seat, I thoroughly wonder if he just ate something really bad the night before and all he can think about in his dream is the fact that he's going to be spending a lot of time on the toilet seat in reparations for what he ate.
And that gives a whole new meaning to the explosive rockets coming out of the helicopter, doesn't it? He's demolishing the toilet later on, and but also he has
demolishing him.
He's in a bad place. As I used to say, he's got the Batmobile bottom. And then, I like the fact that he's got to apologise in song. I think that should be something that we all do now in the world. That if you apologise, because I hate it when I say I'm a firm believer in apologising, even if I don't believe I've done something wrong. If someone's feeling is that I have done something wrong, then what does it hurt to apologise?
Apologise for hurting their feelings at the very least.
Yeah, or something like that. I think too many people go, I'm not apologising, I wasn't to blame. It's like, but think of all the hardship you're creating by not apologising. So I'm fairly confident that I like to apologise. It's say, look, sorry about that, or I like people to say I've annoyed them, so I can say, I'm sorry I did that. I'll look out next time. But I think, wouldn't it be better if you had to do it in song?
I'm here for that. Like, I think that should be it. I think we should do most things in song. Like, it would just make life way more interesting, and I kind of already do that anyway. So I think it would be great if everybody else got on board.
Yeah, absolutely, everything in song. I'm trying to think of the most. You have to go to the chemist to buy some anti-itch cream for a particularly bad itch in a particularly delicate space, and you have to say, hello, my genitals are itching, can I have some cream please? Like that. Yeah,
I love that. I love that. And the chemist is like, yes, sir, how much cream do you need for your itchy genitals?
How big's the patch? How big's the patch? Massive. Lots of cream. Fetch the cream. Like that, yeah.
I like it. I think we should write our own musical. We need to write our own musical about these itchy genitals. Yes.
Yeah. It would just be called that, The Itch.
The Itch. Ooh, is it a horror themed musical?
Well, I don't know. I suppose it depends how bad the itch is. Because I sometimes think that itches, they have that reverse thing. They have an itch is bad because you're like, oh, I've got an itch. But then when you scratch it, that can be worth the itch.
Or it can make it worse.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I was terribly bitten by bugs once when I was in India. Absolutely terribly. And it was my fault. I was wearing Crocs with no socks in a particularly rainy season. Yeah. But I would still say that the itch was dreadful. But every now and then when I soothed it with a pinching push, it was like, oh. So I think it's that heaven and hell thing. It's like, yes, it's horrific, but it's good. It can be good to have a scratch.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So that's that dream done. That one is absolutely bang to rights. Let's get one of yours.
I'm here for this guy's dreams though. Like, I'm just gonna say, like, I love his dreams. I feel like he should definitely keep writing them down. Not only that, keep sending them in, and also he needs to get involved in making some kind of music videos or something, because awesome.
The purple ice is brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's kind of like the vibe you've got going on in your room there with that purple. Yeah, I like that. I'm mixing a bit of green. Purple and green is the perfect combination.
I agree.
And we've got it. Yeah, and that
I've
could be
got
the
purple. You've got the green. So.
Oh look, here we go. That sounds straight away like a song. I got the purple. You got the green. Let's get chased by baby lions.
Yes. I love that we're continuing this musical theme too. I love it.
Yeah. Right, go for it with your one.
Next stream. So this was a submission. April 7th, 2019. A little girl, which wasn't me because she was white, LMFAO, was inside of an all glass 3-story mansion. She looked like Matilda. So if you don't, do you know who Matilda is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Roald Dahl.
Okay, yeah. Anywho, she was trapped in there by an evil black lady, LOL, who was putting her through a dangerous home-built maze. Matilda slipped and fell 30 feet, but was able to catch her fall by the hood of her hoodie. That's all, because I woke up and I don't remember what the hoodie got caught on.
She slipped. She saved herself by catching onto her hoodie.
Yeah, so like she was wearing like a hood like this.
Yeah.
And she slipped and fell, and the hood got caught on something, but she doesn't know what it was.
I thought it was that she pulled the hood to save herself, and I was thinking, well, it's not really going to do a lot of good, is it? Because if you're pulling the hood, because your arm's actually connected to your body, which is falling. So no, that. But in a house, so a big open-fronted glass house,
a large mansion, a 3-story mansion. Yes, that's all glass.
So that must represent the being something in the public eye. Open for people to observe, comment, critique. Maybe this person is starting a new venture and she's scared of critiques or being watched. Although she does specifically mention it's not her, doesn't she?
The person that she's watching, though, isn't her. It's a girl. It's another person who looks like Matilda. And
do you find in... So I was going to say, in your dreams, do you find that there are any racial divides or anything like that? Because I cannot, for a single moment, ever think that people have any racial things in my dreams.
It's not something I think about, but there's definitely people of different ethnic backgrounds in my dreams when I dream. It's not something that I'm ever like, oh, that person was specifically Japanese, but like, there's definitely different people with different backgrounds in my dreams for sure.
So she's watching someone else. So I'm still going with that other person is her. And the reason she specifically mentioned that it's not her, as in she's got the wrong colour skin, is that it's a reflection of her. Do you know? It's a different. It's like, for instance, me. I have these personas, so I put on personas depending on the situation. So maybe this is her persona that's being watched, and she's judging her own persona.
Okay. Yeah, and the girl is trapped there by an evil woman, so she can't get out. And there's this maze inside this home that's exposed to the world because everything's made of glass. And she is just going through this maze over and over, trying to find her way out. But she can't get out because she's trapped there.
Wouldn't it be a crap maze though if it's made of glass? You can kind of see your way, can't you?
It depends on the glass, I think. I mean, think about, when you have something that's very clean, very clear glass, like, are you going to be able to see well through it to know what path you should take?
Yeah, and what I've also now thought of is we used to have these things in England, mirror mazes. I don't know if you have them. And they would be sheets of clear glass, but there'd also be ones with a reflective surface.
Yeah.
And quite often you would smash your face into it. So yeah, that would be even worse then, wouldn't it? Be trapped in this maze where you can see around you, but you can't go anywhere.
Yeah, you can even see out of this mansion that you're stuck in. Like, that there's something else out there. You can get out, but you're trapped by this crazy evil woman. So
yeah. Why do I straight away think of that fairy tale? Do you know Hansel and Gretel? I don't know why, but because they get put in the oven, don't they, and cooked. So I don't really know why I'm thinking about that. I think maybe the Wi-Fi in my brain has gone down.
That's fine. It's fine.
So she's got these expectations. I've gone back to the other one now. Yeah. I'm getting myself confused.
It's okay. So I feel like whether this girl is a representation of her, or like sometimes, when my friends are having a distressing time, sometimes it will manifest in my dreams, because I, see where the problems are and maybe I'm trying to help them. And so maybe even if this dream, whether it is or isn't about her, whoever it is about, whether it's a friend or someone else, she's seeing these problems, and she's seeing that this person is trapped in this situation where everybody knows what's going on. Like, you can see what's happening, you can see that this person is trapped, but they can't get out, and they're being put
that's
through
quite
something
common,
that's
isn't
horrifying.
it? That is quite common in that you'll have a friend, like I've had friends before that have been in say a relationship, and you know that it's bad for them, and you know that they're trapped in this relationship, but they can't seem to see it, but you can.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it is that they can see this, like you said, a friend or someone that's trapped in some sort of situation, be it a bad job, a bad relationship, a bad state of mind, whatever, and she's trying to help them get out of this maze. So the old, I don't know, I'm going to call her an old haggard woman. I just always think an old haggard woman's a bit like, it just sounds a bit
she's
better,
evil, so haggard.
Yeah, haggard.
For sure.
Yeah, she's definitely haggard. Bitch, don't like her. Right. So the old haggard woman is she stopping her getting out the maze, or is she just the one that said get in that maze?
She's keeping her trapped there. She's putting her through this dangerous maze. So she's not allowing her to find a way out or helping her in any way. But it doesn't say if she necessarily, like, you know, was like, here's a maze, go in it. But she made her stay there regardless.
Yeah, so then the haggard old woman could be a representation of the situation she's trapped within. It could be a spouse, a partner, a job, or whatever like that.
I agree.
And then she's fallen. Let's not forget she
slipped and fell 30 feet specifically.
30 feet. Well, 30 feet, I suppose you're at the edge at 30 feet, that it's going to do you some damage, isn't it? Because
30 feet's probably what, 2 stories?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, because I'm 6 foot exactly, so it's basically 4 or 5 of me. So yes, that's going to do us some damage, isn't it? So at that stage, the fear of the height does come in. So there becomes a tangible risk with the fall. Whereas if it was only, say, a 6 foot thing, you might think, oh, do you know what? I'll just get a bruised big toe and I'll hobble off.
Right.
But 30 foot there's a risk. So her escaping this situation involves taking a risk that could cause some damage.
But upon falling, her hood saves her. It gets her. But is she
does it save her?
Or is she caught to where she can't continue her way out of this situation?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. Has she been saved, or has she just been trapped, held back from escaping? So it could work either way, couldn't it? You could say that she knows that she's got to make this leap, this 30-foot jump that could cause more damage to get away from this bad situation.
She slipped and fell, though, so it was an accident.
Slipped and fell, so it was an accident. But that can happen, can't it? Because I was trapped in a job once that was really rubbish, but I'd been doing it for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And I got made redundant. And so I lost my job. And I effectively got pushed out of this job.
You
so I
slipped and fell out of the job.
Yeah.
But it was a job that you weren't happy in. So.
Exactly. I wasn't happy in. And so the slipping could be just the fact that she is maybe not chosen to escape, but it has led her to the right path.
Right. Well, the universe works in mysterious ways. So.
Yeah, it does. It does. You're right. But how does it finish? Do we know what happens, or she just falls?
No, she said she gets caught by the hood of her hoodie and then she wakes up.
That's a shame. That's a shame. I reckon then. I don't know. Am I negative to think that she's the catching by the hoodie wasn't a safety thing? That was someone saying, "No, you ain't going anywhere."
My first inclination was to say, "Oh, like she was saved from this 30-foot fall," but because she doesn't know what her hoodie was caught on, I also kind of decided it's probably more the route that she is not able to leave. Like she was caught by her hoodie and she's stuck there.
Yeah. So what we've learned from that, a hoodie can be a savior or it can be an oppressor.
Right.
They are multifunctional pieces of garmentry, aren't they?
You might even be able to use it as a parachute if it's big enough and you have the wingspan. So,
well, yeah. I do like a hoodie though. I know it's rude, but I like to put it up, and I feel like when I'm on an aeroplane, put up my hoodie, noise cancelling headphones, and you almost feel like I'm safe here.
Yeah, I love a good hoodie. I love a good hoodie. So,
and for you, is this a game changer when you get a hoodie? Now, I like a good hoodie, but a game changer is holes in the cuffs.
Yes.
That changes it from I like that hoodie to I need that hoodie.
Yes. Holes in the cuffs of a hoodie is like a dress or leggings with pockets.
See, I wouldn't know that because I've never worn a dress or a leggings with or without the pocketry.
Without the pockets, it's just disappointment. But if it has pockets, you get excited. You know, you're like, hey, someone says I like that dress, and you're like, well, thank you. It has pockets. Like, it's like you got to tell them. You got to tell them it has pockets because it's exciting, you know?
That's exactly. My daughter does that. She's a very girly girl and she likes to wear dresses. And she'll put on a dress and she'll go, it's got a pocket.
It's exciting.
And before you know it, she'll put stones in the pocket or something like that. There'll be something in the pocket. So
you got to put something in there. I mean, if you've got a pocket, you should use it.
Yeah, you're right. I have found myself in situations, I must admit, especially in America when it's the hotter weather, where I've had shorts that don't have a pocket, and
unacceptable.
It is unacceptable, isn't it? So, manufacturers, we need pockets in everything, and everything also needs to have thumb holes.
Yes.
From now on in, thumb holes and pockets in everything.
Requirements.
Yeah.
We're going to write the UN.
We're going to write it. Yeah, we want little lions, we want no conifers, and we want thumb holes in everything.
And pockets.
And pockets.
Yes.
Right. Shall I read my next one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right, okay, let me have a look. I'm having to go to my little notes section. Here it is. Now, this one is a little bit. The reason this one I thought was good was because it's quite relevant to the situation I'm in at the moment. My daughter's got epilepsy. She's got really bad epilepsy, and it's quite a hardship. So this dream's about epilepsy, which is strange. And it says it goes on. The dream was about epilepsy. This one is still very clear in my memory. It was a lucid dream. So we spoke last time about you knowing about lucid dreams and me not. So it's a skill. I'm with another guy and we're walking through a forest. We find, I hope there's no conifers. We find a cleared patch of land with a weird machine and two people in it. So here's the description of the machine. It looks like an MRI, but it doesn't have the hole in the middle which the body goes. Instead of that, there's an enlarged button battery, almost the size of a man or a little larger even than that. It's fixed on one end of the table where the hole is. And the man was sitting with his legs towards the battery and his head was held by a harness, like the ones that they have in eye surgeries on the other side. The harness came out of the battery. The man had very glowy skin and bright blue eyes, a sharp nose and brown, moderately sharp hair. Oh, short hair. I was thinking sharp hair. This sounds like an SCP
anime,
or something.
like pointy.
Yeah. There was a doctor who was standing near him, and the doctor was short, fat, and he was wearing a white lab coat, glasses, and had fuzzy hair. That is the stereotypical doctor, isn't it?
Yeah.
He had a console in his hand with a big red button on it, which was connected to the machine. When he pushed the button, the machine emitted some sort of rays towards the bound man and emitted the kind of sound that an MRI machine makes for 3 seconds. So I've been in an MRI. Have you been in an MRI, Shannon?
Yeah.
It's going like...
It's very loud.
Yeah, it is very loud,
it sounds
isn't
like you're in a dryer.
Yeah, you're right. I hadn't even thought about that. I feel sorry for my underpants now in the dryer. I think I've never thought of it like that before. Poor things. Right, so it makes the sound. The person had a baffled look during the emission, and then initially, after it ended, he had an epileptic fit on the table whilst the doctor stood there and watched. My partner and me thought that he was some kind of evil doctor, and we ran out of the forest. After running for a while, we came across a cliff with a never-ending evergreen forest on the low ground. there was a bank. No, sorry, excuse me. There was a blank. Yeah. There was a blank space, and I was then in my house, in my room with the other guy who was with me, and we saw the doctor and the patient standing together. The person had a very disorientated look on his face. I was going to ask him what was up with him, but then the dream ended.
Okay. So the patient, was the doctor running an experiment on the patient, or was
it sounds like it, doesn't it?
Him? Because it sounds like he was running an experiment on this patient, not that he was trying to run some kind of test or trying to help him, but that he was like, oh, I have this insane machine.
That's that thing, isn't it? And that's the thing. Why, do you know, a story always has two sides? So they're saying, oh, there was this mad doctor doing an experiment on someone. Was he? He might have just been a bit facially challenged in the looking stakes, and trying to help this guy by blasting him with these rays. Yeah, you're right. It's that thing, isn't it? That there's always a light and always a dark, but is there really? There's just shades of grey, isn't there, really?
Well, I feel like most of the time, you know, the individual doing the thing that society deems as inappropriate or evil or whatever the situation is, they probably don't see themselves in that same light. Like if you have two sides fighting a war, both sides think the other side is evil, but there's not necessarily an evil side unless you look at it from an outside perspective.
This reminds me of a TV show called Dark on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's about time travel. And there's two opposing forces, the light and the dark, neither of which have been given these names. They just are like, they're seen as the light and the dark. And they're battling each other to control this time.
Yeah.
The circle of time. But one's doing it to try and destroy the time loop, because they think that if they destroy time, they're giving people freedom, because at the moment you're trapped in this endless time loop,
right?
And the other people, the good ones, are trying to keep the time loop restored,
right?
So it is there's that dichotomy of which ones are the bad ones, do you know? So it's the same with this. Is that doctor bad just because he's a bit possibly crazed doctor looking? Is he bad, or
is him being crazed what made you uncomfortable with the situation, though, or was it what he was doing that made you uncomfortable with the situation? Because I think that would be the determining factor. If it was just that him looking a little crazed made you want to get out of there and escape the situation, then I feel like the interpretation would have to be more to do with the way that you view and judge other people, versus if what he was doing made you uncomfortable, then maybe you have this outlook on not every doctor or doctors in general even, but on certain situations as like, oh, people are running experiments on other people in an inappropriate manner. That was difficult to say.
Yes, sometimes these words are. But yes, so could it be, in my best Discovery Channel voice?
Could it be
that these people are a little bit held back from open-mindedness?
Okay.
And that the doctor and the experiments are actually liberating thoughts, but they're resisting the liberation of this doctor, of this experiment, because it's unfamiliar, it looks weird, it sounds weird, it seems uncomfortable. But is it? Are they just scared of change? Are they scared of differences? Are they scared of the unknown?
Right. So I could see that until at the end of the dream, where you see this doctor and the patient once again, and the patient is disoriented and they maybe don't seem so normal. So is it that there's some kind of liberation happening, or are these experiments that this doctor is running in fact actually causing harm to people?
Yeah, you're right on it. It's a right old twist in the tail, isn't it? It's so at the end there's the doctor with the disorientated guy that was strapped to the battery,
right?
And they can't ask him he's all right. So we don't know. It's left us on a cliffhanger, isn't it? So what would you initially think? Just straight away, thoughts, what would you think? Good or bad?
My initial thought is the bad. Like if the situation itself is making discomfort, then something's wrong with the situation in my first initial reaction. And then, you know, they try and get away from the situation and get out of there, and they find this beautiful green, was it a forest?
He said, yeah, a never ending evergreen forest.
Which, like, whoa, here is this crazy bad thing happening, and we're gonna get away from it. And oh, look at this beautiful, never ending situation or environment in front of us. Like we've gotten away from this bad situation where these experiments were happening and people were being put into this crazy machine. But on the other side of it, all of a sudden they're back.
They're back, but could the forest just be familiarity?
It could.
Because if you look at a forest, and they said that the forest is in the low ground, so they're at the top of this cliff looking down at this evergreen forest. If you look at a forest from a fairly similar height, it's very uniformed and similar. So maybe the forest represents going back to the normalcy of society, where you blend in with a crowd, where you become part of the forest of trees, where you become almost non-distinct but part of a whole. And yeah, I don't know.
I could see that as well. I think maybe it would be dependent upon the individual's interpretation of a forest, because for me, like, I would see that as like something beautiful to explore and something interesting.
I suppose you need to see the forest, don't you?
Yeah, someone else might see that forest as blending in normalcy and, you know, not...
But I am like you. I am like you. If you said to me, "Oh, do you want to spend the day in a forest exploring?" I'd be like, "Yes, I am all over that. I love green. I love nature. I love wildlife.
I would be so excited to look out and see this. Yeah.
I love being back to kind of like the roots of everything. Obviously, that plays in with the trees, but being back to almost like, you don't have all this technology, you don't have all these crazy MRI machine battery type things and stuff like that. But then I would say I also like individuality. I'm a massive fan of individuality, and I'm a big fan of standing out. I tell a lot of people that I've coached before about going to job interviews and things like that. I've said, whatever you do, be yourself. Don't be someone else, be yourself. And because if you're yourself, you stand out. And if you stand out, you make an impression. If that impression's a negative impression, someone thinks, oh, I don't like that guy, then you were in the wrong place to start with. That wasn't the place for you. Yet if you make the impression, they go, do you know what, I like the spirit of that guy, I like this, that and the other, then in other words, be liked for what you are, not what you pretend to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm then thinking that this experiment was just these people that fear the unknown. They fear being different, and they see this doctor as in a representation of the changing world, where it is becoming a little bit more acceptable to be different. But they're scared of this person that has become different.
But why is the guy, when they see him again, why is he so disoriented?
Because they don't understand him.
Okay.
What could be disorientation? Joe, it might not be disorientation. He might be now fully liberated and be himself, but they just can't understand him. They look at him and think, that guy's mad. You know, that guy's like stumbling about, but no, he's not. He's just liberated. He's just been freed from his shackles of maniacal society's machinations.
Right. Okay, that's an interesting way to think about it. That's a really interesting way to think about
Well,
it.
I just think like I know I look a bit different. I've got a big beard that I quite often plait. I've got green hair that I've quite often plait. I'm covered in tattoos. I wear some strange clothing, and I know I've walked down the street and people look at me. You know, and they look, and they look, and you can see that they don't understand because they thrive on this pack mentality. You know, strength in numbers.
Absolutely.
So they look at me and they don't understand. So that's what I think this is, that they're looking at the person and they're thinking he's disorientated and he's in harm or whatever, but they just don't understand this person.
That's fair. Okay, that's fair. I like that. That's much better than my my more nightmarish version that I have kind of created.
That's what's great though about things like this, is that there are two sides to it. And I always try and stress that to my children, that don't give everyone everything. Do you know? Make someone think about something. Do you know? And think differently. And just because everyone likes, I don't know, Kit Kats and you like a Twix, do you know? Don't be scared of it. Do you know? Embrace it.
Right. Well, the thing is, like, when it comes to most things, I feel like whether it's a story or a movie or a poem or whatever it is, like, you can have a specific intent with it, but there's nothing wrong with looking at that through a different lens and having a different idea about it. And, you know, that's why people have so many differing opinions on what movie might be good or what book might be good. And it's just all about our own individual interpretations of those things. And there's nothing wrong with that. So
no, it really does annoy me when someone says, do you know, when I say, oh, I like this film, and they go, no, that one's rubbish. And you're like, well, it's not, because I like it. Therefore, it can't be rubbish because someone does like it.
Yeah.
I prefer it when someone says, oh, I really like this film, and I think, oh, I hate that film. Why do you like that film? You tell me why you like it. I want to find out from you why you like it and I hate it.
Yeah.
It's more interesting that way.
And that's okay. That's cool.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Otherwise, how rubbish would it be? We'd all just be at the cinema queuing up to see the Avengers 17 every single year, wouldn't we? And what a horrible life that would be if we all just literally have the same opinions and the same likes and dislikes.
It truly would be.
Free thought. And whatever it is you like, just be passionate about it.
Yeah.
Don't hold back.
Yeah. So I feel like the fact that you and I have kind of two differing opinions about the direction of this dream is very interesting.
I like it. I totally agree with you. Otherwise, if we both had exactly the same opinion, then it'd be like, well, right, well, gee, you're fired then.
This would be really boring, I think, if we agreed on everything. So.
But that was quite a good dream. I enjoyed that dream. I did enjoy that dream. That was a good one.
It's interesting.
Yeah, you're right. My two dreams have been very tree heavy, and I'm now scared of conifers.
Right.
But yeah.
I think we should avoid the conifers in the future.
Yeah.
Well, I think that we had some very interesting dreams today. So
yes,
what did we learn today? What are our
I like this today? I like this. I think every episode should finish with a what did
I agree.
Yeah.
What did we learn?
That conifers are sticky.
Conifers are sticky. That cute tiny little lions would be wonderful additions to our world.
Yes. That purple ice is representative of a Duran Duran 80s music video. We
learned that you are Tom Hanks.
We learned that I am Tom Hanks. Of course we did, yes. Holiday Hanks. And we learned that we both like thumb holes.
Yes, and pockets.
Thumb holes and pockets. That's what this episode should be called. Thumb holes, pockets.
Thumb holes and pockets.
And pockets. Yes.
Thumb holes, pockets, and conifers.
Thumb holes, pockets, and conifers. Absolutely perfect. So we learned quite a lot.
I like this one. We had some really fascinating dreams in this one, I feel. Definitely.
And any listeners, any of our dreamers, please do send in your dreams. Don't worry if they're weird. Don't worry if they're strange.
We love it.
We love it. And and we don't have to say who it's from. So we don't have to say, oh, so and so from up the road had a dream that he was snogging an Alsatian dog. We don't have to say any of that. We can keep it completely anonymous.
Your wife will never know that you were actually dreaming of murdering her. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Thank goodness for that. Yeah. And who would have thought that Kit Kats are the worst murdering tool in the world?
I mean...
But, yeah. So please do send us in your dreams. We love to hear them. We love to interpret them. But also on the caveat that what we say is probably a load of old hokum, but it's fun nevertheless.
Yes, send us your dreams to bye.dreamcast@gmail.com. That's bye.dreamcast@gmail.com. We're looking forward to reading them and interpreting them and dissecting them.
And dissecting them. Yeah, and absolutely everything. And for now, then, I suppose all we can say is keep dreaming. Please do let us know your opinion on thumb holes and pockets. I'd be interested to know.
Write your letters to the UN immediately.
Write your letters to the UN, and if you see a conifer, go out and get rid of that conifer. But careful, you'll get sticky.
You will, and you'll get poked everywhere. All right, sweet dreams, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.